Welcome to the Fitness and Finance Podcast with Jeff Smith from The Retirement Smith and Jennifer Scherer from Fredericksburg Fitness Studio. True wealth isn't just about finances. It's about maintaining a healthy body and a secure financial future. The Fitness and Finance Podcast is here to help you build strength in both areas, tackling financial strategies for retirement while also discussing ways to stay active, healthy, and energized. Now let's get started with Fitness and Finance. I absolutely love that intro. Jeff, love watching you work out. You know that. I kind of live for that.
Too good.
It is too good. You guys are great. I love the set today. You got a new set with the Fitness and Finance radio poster and some greenery there. And Jeff, thanks for wearing the short pants and showing off again for us today. I love that.
I gotta do that.
I love that.
Fridays are void of leg prisons.
Leg prisons. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm up here in Minnesota, and we're supposed to get 10 inches of snow this weekend.
Oh, my gosh. That's ridiculous.
It hit 60 last weekend. This weekend, 10 inches of snow and high winds.
Yeah. Oh. Virginia was like, hey, let's one-up them. We were 85, and then the next day it snowed.
Yeah.
Not kidding.
That's insane.
Wow. It was wild.
It actually had accumulation on the ground, and then the sun came out later that night or evening and melted it. Completely.
Wow. I wish we would have that situation here, but we're going to have 10 inches and it won't melt instantly. So,
wow. That is a long winter.
Yes,
it's going to be another week. Next weekend, it's supposed to be nicer, like in the upper 40s, 50s. And here, when it hits 55, that's the short pants weather. That's right. When I break out the short pants. That's when I pull a Jeff Smith and just...
It's too hot.
Just go for it.
It's literally 55 here right now.
Wow. Is it 55? Yeah. Jeff, don't slouch. You're
too late. I just bring the microphone closer.
I know. And here I am sitting on the edge of the couch.
Jennifer's on the edge of her seat. She's so excited about
it. Well, she should be. She was on television this morning.
Oh,
let's talk about that. That's what we're talking about.
We had to get up at 5:12 this morning.
Yes, we did.
Wait, in the AM?
In the AM.
Yep.
5:12 AM. My clock doesn't even have AM. So I've got that going for me.
Wow, that is nice.
Which is nice.
Well, it is noon, so I guess that's pretty cool. Tony. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that you can avoid the AM. But we got up at 5:12, rushing around. I made food the night before so that we could eat on the fly.
Perfect. Wait, you got up that early too, Jeff?
I get up that early to make us breakfast every day.
Yeah.
But not that early usually. But today we had to because we had to drive all the way to DC, to Bethesda, Maryland, actually, and where Fox 5 is. And Jennifer had some amazing advice for people. It was such a good segment.
Wow.
What was really interesting, not cool, but kind of cool, they had the Secretary of War's press conference. So a bunch of people that were slotted to go on Fox 5 that this morning got bumped, but we didn't. Jennifer didn't get bumped, so she got an extra 5 minutes.
I know.
That's
longer than normal. Usually I feel pretty rushed.
Yeah, it's usually like
those
minutes.
With those TV interviews. But this one was a little bit more relaxed.
Well, we're going to talk about the topic you were addressing on television today. We have a TV star in our presence, Jennifer Scherer. I love it. You guys, a radio, podcast, TV, books. You guys do it all. And I think that's great because you have a lot to share and a lot to help the rest of us. Very educational. What were you talking about on TV today?
So foods that boost longevity was the topic. And
really?
Yeah, I pulled in the research on the blue zones of the world. And how
that's where longevity is right? That's what that means. Blue zone means
that's where the world's largest population of people who live into their 90s,
hundreds,
and into their centenarians.
Yeah, centenarians, yes.
Yeah.
And you looked at some of the commonalities.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating.
I heard some kind of what root? I read about that too, the blue zones. There's some root that a lot of them eat, and I can't remember.
Oh, it's a purple potato.
Yes.
Most all of them eat a purple potato.
There's some kind of
Like what's fascinating is that 90% of their diets are plant-based.
90%.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
Not the carnivore diet? I'm confused.
Yeah.
So meat, it's not that they avoid meat, but it shows up much smaller quantities.
Right. They're not necessarily vegetarians. They still have protein, but the majority of their diet are plant-based.
Right.
Yeah. So to clarify, if you're trying to bodybuild, right, that's different than longevity. So there's a lot of people that will point to the fact that 90% plant-based is not fill in the blank, right? Well, if your goal is to be a professional bodybuilder, maybe some more protein from animals are required, right? But I do look at like somebody like Herschel Walker, who had never eaten meat in his life, and he's jacked and he's huge. But
yeah,
all he is that for people that are poo-pooing the idea of 90% plant-based, it's for longevity. It's for how long people live healthy lifestyles.
Right. It's staying healthier longer. I mean, a lot of athletes don't necessarily live longer. So it's not necessarily about bodybuilding is fine, and not having an ounce of body fat is very helpful. But there's a difference between bodybuilding and living long. That's not
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Absolutely. And actually in the blue zones, they're typically not in a caloric surplus because their lifestyles are so active. It's very difficult for them to eat enough to build muscle.
So it's a low calorie diet is what you mean by that.
Well,
yes, but they also get, they're getting calorie dense foods from olive oil and nuts and seeds and things like that.
Sure.
But, for muscle gain, you can eat mostly plants. I would say maybe not 90%, maybe 70%, and still hit your protein targets.
Sure.
It just takes a little bit, more concerted effort.
But to your point, right? Most of these folks, walk everywhere. They garden their own food.
Yeah.
They're very active. They're not sitting.
They're active.
8 hours
That's huge.
a day. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
and the blue zone means they live longer. These are areas where they live longer. So really, everything we're talking about is tied to longevity. Then,
yes,
that's what we're talking about. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
And we'll tie in the finance piece too.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of centenarians here in the United States. There are, and it's seemingly, there's a big part that is genetic, right? Don't you think there's some genetic pieces there too?
Yeah.
But the reality is that you can tip the scale in your favor by changing your lifestyle in early, right? So it's the same thing for finance, right? I mean, some of the most financial, well-off people, they don't have to be gazillionaires starting out. They just quietly accumulate a nest egg because they're methodical about doing the right things. It's the same thing in longevity for, eating for longevity.
Right. And two, in one of the blue zones is Okinawa, Japan.
Right.
And one of their mindsets, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but they say it before every meal. And it's like Harabachi Hu or something like that. But it means stop eating when you're 80% full.
Oh.
And so they live by that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's actually in the research has shown that their blood sugar stays more stabilized. They're not overfilling themselves and gaining weight. So they help keep their BMIs in that healthy category. And they enjoy their meals. Like they go slow. It's very family oriented. They have time to connect and laugh. And I mean, their meals can last 1 to 2 hours. Whereas in the American diet, we're eating in the car, we're eating while working.
In between podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, who would... You know what? I'm a professional and I wouldn't do that. So are grapes one of the things we can eat because
oh yes.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
Grapes are good.
They are. Berries, when it comes to fruits, one of the foods that are most known for longevity is blueberries. Blueberries, blackberries,
blueberries
raspberries.
Are great.
Yeah. From the anthocyanins in them, which they're basically an antioxidant.
And they have antioxidants.
Yes.
I thought that was.
But then I like regular melon. It's good too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just melon.
Half of your plate should be fruits and veggies. Yeah.
The other half tuna fish.
That's right.
I did have tuna fish today while you guys were getting situated.
Yes.
Yeah. It took Jeff today before the show and Jennifer about, I'm going to say a good 20 minutes just to get comfortable on the couch.
That's true. My leg can't come off at the top of this. That's why it's there.
Well, everybody cannot see that, but Jeff is lounging.
So I have some more questions for Jennifer before we get into the finance. So in your research, looking into blue zones and talking about foods that can lead to longevity, you said plants, things with antioxidants like blueberries are good. And the attitude of, I like that. I'm glad you pointed that out. I had never heard that. Now I've heard of the blue zones and some of the foods they eat, a lot of roots, a lot of just plants in general. But I'd never heard of that where they say stop when you're 80% full, because and eat slowly. I always eat as fast as I can until I'm so full it hurts. So that's not what I should do.
No.
Oh, okay.
Start slowing down.
What do you think they would say in Okinawa when they saw Tony would do that?
Come in there?
They would say hara hachibu.
Yes.
Or whatever it is.
They would come up and poke me in the stomach and say, "You fat."
Oh,
no, they would not. I'm not judgy. I'm just saying.
They would say slow.
Some cultures, I've had some cultures that do that where they've come up to me. Yeah, because that means in their culture you're wealthy in certain cultures. Certain Asian cultures they like that. They point out, "You fat." It's like, thank you.
Yeah, like
thank you. Yeah. So, but I think this is important because my grandfather lived to 101 and he was driving at 100.
Wow.
Now he's unique. He was still going out on the farm every day.
Yeah.
The local car dealership, they had the TV station come out to the farm and interview him, and they were at his 95th and 99th birthday parties we had. And the car dealership came and gave him an award because he's the oldest person to ever buy a brand new vehicle from them.
Really?
And they checked other Ford dealerships and they said, according to Ford, there's no record of anyone older than you ever buying a brand new vehicle.
That's incredible.
In your mid to late 90s. So he bought a brand new truck in his 90s and was driving around.
That's pretty cool.
Longevity, and he was happy. See, he led a happy, healthy life. I mean, his doctor said it's rare that he didn't get any disease. At the very end, they diagnosed him, I think, with diabetes like a year or two before he died. Other than that, he said that they said the reason he died though was his organs just gave out eventually.
Wow.
He died of old age.
They have a shelf life, right? That's what it is.
Yep. So I think it's amazing that people in whole groups of people are living longer into 100. We have to study that and like, hey, what can we do better? And I'm glad you talked about that.
Yeah, Tony, let me ask you something. Did your grandfather ever leave the area that he was in? I mean, did he live somewhere else, or was he always?
No, he always lived there.
Yeah,
and he was farmed. Here's the deal about my grandfather. He ate a slab of butter on every bite of potato or toast and thing he ate. And he had full breakfast every morning. However, he got up at 5 a.m. every day. He worked until 7 or 8 at night on the farm, and he worked a lot. And he did eat a lot of plants, and they grew their own vegetables.
Right.
So they ate very little processed foods.
Right.
I think, and that probably makes a difference.
That's
right?
the key right there.
I was going to say, one of the things that's unique about Blue Zone people are they live off, they eat produce that's within a mile or so of them. And they cultivate it mostly. They cultivate their own food.
Yeah.
So
got all the eggs from a farm a mile down. My mom and dad up until recently still got the eggs from the same farm that my grandfather did growing up. Well, in fact, my grandfather grew up on that farm, My dad grew up on that same exact farm, and I grew up on that same exact farm.
Kidding. That's incredible.
But there is a lot of, I will say, some of it is genes in this case, because in my grandpa's family, a lot of people live to 100. So
wow,
there's genes there too. But my grandfather was, and they said, "What's your secret?" And he said, "Don't stop. You got to have a part of it's having a purpose too."
I think so. Yes. I think that's a big deal. I think that really is that. You hear about guys that work into their mid 70s, they quit, and a week later they're dead. I mean, it's just, they have to have a purpose. Everybody has to have a purpose.
Or when your spouse passes, it's a month later, and the other spouse is gone.
That does happen a lot.
Because of the purpose, the drive. But I think diet, for those that might not have the genes on their side, I think diet is so important.
It really is. And they asked me that question on air this morning. They were like, so when it comes to longevity, you're both in fitness and nutrition, which one's going to move the needle more? And I hesitated at first because I said, well, you have to embrace both. I didn't really want to discount one or the other.
So you mean exercise, or what you eat, or how active you are?
Yeah, like which one is going to move the needle more in the longevity department?
It's a combo platter.
It is.
I mean, that's a cop-out answer in a way, but it's true.
Right? But it is. But I did say 80% food, because at the end of the day, if you really if you really stop and think about it, if you're working out every day and then following up with cheeseburgers and pizza and beer, what do you think that's doing to your arteries? Right? You might look strong, you might have great muscle tone, but what's on the inside of that?
Yeah, and especially with men, arteries, that's what kills most men nowadays. Heart attacks and heart issues, and aneurysms. These things are caused by that, and that's a great point.
And that, blood pressure is the silent killer. And what do you think raises your blood pressure? All the sodium in the processed foods that we're eating.
Yeah.
So I really do think it's 80% food.
Yeah, what raises my blood pressure is show prep with Jeff before the show. Those 20 minutes leading up. Whoo! I'm teasing you, Jeff. You guys are awesome, and
we always have fun.
We enjoyed having lunch with you today.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Hearing me eat, comp.
I really feel like if we were able to record the show prep in the beginning, that people would laugh a lot.
It's very entertaining.
I think it's funnier than. I think it's better than the show sometimes.
I think it is.
Well, I don't think about it. It's not as educational, but funnier.
No,
Sure.
Yeah.
But at any rate, this is important because people want to know what to do to stay healthy longer and enjoy their retirement. And this is what you do for a living, Jeff, is retirement income planning and retirement planning. But a big part of what you do for your clients and people you work with, Jeff, is to help them. If they don't have longevity, it's tough. Maybe it makes you don't have to have as much money to last, but you don't want that to be the reason that dying early isn't a great solution for retirement income. That's not how you solve the problem.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people will use that as an excuse. Well, I'll never live to fill in the blank, right? And I think that's just a cop out. That's just a way for them to feel better about the fact that they haven't saved enough.
Right.
They're like, well, I won't live until then. And I'm like, well, what if you do,
Yeah.
So I think the thing is that people are living longer, generally speaking, right? Yeah. There's mortality and there's morbidity, right? So morbidity is what we really want to avoid. And that is, issues with your health chronically. And I think you can do that with eating better and exercising, moving. I'll tell you that my family genetics are not great, right? So, but I probably am the oldest in my family in any generation to not be on blood pressure medication or be on, cholesterol medication or anything I have nothing. I'm not prescribed anything for, and that's I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying that takes a lot of intention, right? You have to be thinking.
You worked hard to get to this point.
Right. It was not easy. Yeah. And 15 years ago, doctor said I had to be on medication for the rest of my life because of my weight. And so that scared me enough to make some long lasting changes. And I say that because that's the same thing in my finances, right? When I first started my business, I went into debt because I was just trying to keep going, and it's terrible. But I learned a lot of lessons from that. And I also learned that, you're never too young to start planning and putting money aside. Now that's easy as somebody my age looking back, but the same types of things that we do for fitness and eating correct, we want to invest clean. We want to save clean the same way we would eat clean, right?
Sure.
If we start chasing returns, we start looking for get rich quick schemes, those are like processed food. They're a no win, right? They may feel good, they may feel exciting, they may, you may think you're doing something great and you're going to hit the lottery, so to speak. But they typically leave you empty and making bad decisions worse by pulling out at the wrong time. Doing the right things consistently. I've counseled younger people, and I tell you, with the same things that Jennifer tells her clients, I say the same thing to mine, and that is stop trying to look for a silver bullet. The fact, how many people win the lottery?
Get rich quick scheme. Yeah.
How many people that play the lottery actually win it? It is a very, very, very small number of people. You're not one of them.
Tiny. You're not. You're
right.
not one of them.
I think the reality is that if you think you're going to win the lottery, and then that's how you're going to retire, you know what I mean? That's sad. And what I mean by that is that people are constantly looking for workarounds, the stuff that actually works, because it's hard, because it feels hard, right? Well, here's a newsflash. You have to sometimes change, your current habits for a future, right? And yes, we have to live in the moment. We have to be in the moment, but you can be present and enjoy your life and also save money and also eat well. Those are all things that you can do. You do not have to be a bazillionaire to do all those things. And, I've listened to a lot of people complain about the price of food and price of stuff. You know what? There are ways that you can do that are a little bit less expensive, but still give you, bigger impact. And the same with saving. You don't have to have, 3 different accounts and all of your saving money going into them. Just do the right things over and over consistently, starting very young or as young as you can, and pop your head up, 5 years from that point and see what kind of, success you've had.
Such a good point.
Yeah. And if you're living longer, you do need to, it makes having a plan in place for your finances even more important. I mean, I always say when it comes to finances, the good news is we're living longer. The bad news is we're living longer.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so, Jennifer, you're going to help people, the people that come to you and train with you and get your advice and follow the meal plans and the exercise plans. They're going to live longer, hopefully, because of that.
Right.
But then Jeff with the finances goes, thanks a lot, Jennifer. Now I have to come up with enough income. Take this, what this couple has saved. And now it's going to have to last another 10 years in retirement. Instead of 20 years in retirement, you're going to spend 30. And especially for those who are not yet 50, or maybe they just turned 50 who are listening, your odds of living longer are going up and up.
Yeah. And you're on deck. You're on deck.
You're on deck, and and the odds of you living longer are going up all the time, especially with great advice. I'm not going to name names, Jennifer Scherer, but hopefully, that's what you're doing, helping people live longer, which is great. And it's not just living longer, right? Longevity itself can have negative connotations, and we look at how many people need long-term care. How about we live longer and eliminate the need for long-term care, or do our best to stay healthier longer, right?
Exactly right.
Right. Because you hear people joke, it's like, oh yeah, if I have this cheeseburger, I'm going to take a year off my life. But guess what? It's the last year of my life. So who cares, right? But
I've heard that.
That's a horrible attitude. And what if that year you could be healthy and still be doing things? I mean, look at my grandfather.
Right.
Yeah.
Right up until the end. Only the last 3 months was he in hospice. And so, I mean, he lived life over 100 years.
That's amazing.
But I think that's mindset. Like the person that says, about the cheeseburger, right?
Right.
A different person could approach that very differently and look at the optimistic part, right?
Right.
I swap that for a tofu burger. I might add a year to my life, right?
Or just gag on it.
Yeah, really. You're not gonna try to get us to throw some kale on top of that tofu burger, are you? There,
I'll draw the line,
Jennifer.
I really do. I want to be as healthy as I can be, but I'm going to do it without tofu.
I know you don't.
It's gnarly.
Some people like it. Some people make it, and they season it up and fry it.
The name to make it sound better, like tempeh or whatever.
Oh, that's a different one. Seitan and tempeh.
Tempeh.
Yeah.
That sounds ridiculous.
But I mean, if you went to the gym and you could just, pull down a lever and it gives you another week of life, would more people go to the gym?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
How many times can you pull the lever?
You really think?
No, probably not.
For every 60 minutes of, cardio in your heart rate zone, you get to pull the lever
once. Oh, wait, you still have to work out and do exercise? I thought I could just walk into the gym, pull the lever, and leave. Then people would come to the gym.
All day.
No, but seriously, do you really think people would go?
No.
I
no,
mean,
because that's what you're. I don't know. That's what you're offering is, hey, go to the gym every day and work out for an hour, and you could add a week to your life.
Right.
Well, I will say this. Let me just say this. I have a guy that I work with, a client on the fitness side, and we've been training together for what? How long do you think?
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Probably like 6
months
or 7 months.
7 months, yeah. And in that time, he has lost. Well, since he started, he's lost over 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's good.
He has he's redefined his body. His body's in a different place. One of his big things was that he had a hard time getting on a plane without his back hurting, doing work, picking up his daughter, all these things. He had all these markers that were issues for him. And now those are all gone. Those are all gone.
Wow.
All those things have been replaced, and
quality of life has improved dramatically just by working out regularly and losing that weight and eating healthier.
Right. And he goes, this part of my life, I don't care what aesthetically this looks like. And I mean, I think he does, but that's not his primary goal. His primary goal is to feel good, which everybody should really have that as a goal. And my point in pointing that out is that, that's what it's all about. If you could pull that lever and feel better, I mean, that's, I think if you wake up, if you're listening to this and you wake up every morning with pain, you hurt to go to the bathroom when you walk across the floor, you got to start making some changes. You got to say, geez, this is not for me. It doesn't get easier. It just doesn't get better without actual work associated with it.
Yeah. I think what too with this example,
fiery today.
With this example, you said that his main goal was not necessarily looks, but it was more to feel better.
Yeah.
And that's giving him purpose because it's directly related to him being able to carry his daughter up the hill after a snow sledding, day or whatever. Right. So going back to what we talked about earlier with like food and exercise and the question I got asked on air on TV today, which one's more important? How about having purpose?
Yeah.
Beyond those two things, right? I feel like purpose is what's going to drive someone like you just mentioned, like him, into consistent habits because they're seeing the changes and it matters to them in their daily life. Yeah. Like you might not always eat great or you might miss a workout. But if you get up every morning and you're like, I'm going to charge the day because I want to feel good, you're more likely to live healthy or even die healthy.
Well, right.
Right.
Die healthy. Yeah. That's a great goal.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, he told me that he wouldn't do it without having the accountability.
Right.
So I also want to encourage people, find an accountability partner or hire someone to do that. Both of these things, fitness and finances, it is important to have some sort of accountability, and you will feel better in both areas, mentally, emotionally, physically. All of those things will feel a lot better when you have them, going in the right direction. You will feel better.
And they feed off of each other. I mean, if you're healthier, it's going to help your finances, things like that. So before we go, I know that our listeners probably have questions. They want to know, well, how do I get on this meal plan? How do I utilize your skills? I need a financial plan. I've got financial questions. I have health and dietary questions. How can they get a hold of you to set up a consultation?
Jennifer's going to do that. But before she does, we are actually in the process of putting together some downloads on the website for people to get started. And they're free. And even if you don't work with us, use them. Download them. There's a couple of things. One is going to be, having a conversation with your spouse about finances. How do you start that conversation? One of them is going to be the foods that Jennifer suggests that we start swapping out for the garbage that we're eating. And so anyway, go ahead, tell them.
So they can find us on our website, and that is fitnessfinancepro.com. And then from there's the button to book the discovery call with both Jeff and myself.
Wow, that's great. So go to fitnessfinancepro.com and you can get it there. Great show today. Great discussion on longevity, foods and finance, the blue zone. What's the secret there? Diet, and then diet versus exercise. We talked about a lot today. Longevity, how to deal with it, have a financial plan. Great stuff. I'm sure our listeners have questions. So once again, set up that discovery call. There's no charge for that. Go to fitnessfinancepro.com. And that does it for today's episode of Fitness and Finance with our hosts, Jeff Smith and Jennifer Scherer.